Good evening, fellow travelers on Spaceship Earth and Brent, who's also a fellow traveler on Spaceship Earth.
No, I'm on Spaceship Mars.
On Spaceship Mars. How'd you get there before Musk did? These
That's
are all
where I
the
was
questions
born.
I want to know,
That's where I was born.
right? Makes total sense.
I am crazy enough to be from there, so yeah, why not?
Why not? Why the heck not?
So I'm slowly losing my mind over here.
Oh, yeah.
How's your day?
Okay. We just finished watching Ahsoka episode 7 and Lower Decks episode, gosh, where are we? 5? Yeah.
5 or 6, yeah.
Yeah. That was cool.
Nice. Sorry, Cat is now wanting me to give him scritches as I'm holding paintbrushes in my hand and
Right. There's no way around scritches at this point. Yep.
yeah. Well, he's also being, you're not paying attention to me, Dad. I'm gonna bug you when you don't need to be bugged. Cats. What can you do?
Right. Just let them eat the beta Zeds. I mean, what?
Uh-oh.
All right.
Weren't that right? Alright. I'm waiting for something to dry so I can do some dry brushing and also work on some other stuff while I wait.
There you go. Sounds good to me.
You working on your slides still tonight?
Oh, yeah. Although one of my artists just posted a whole bunch of stuff on Patreon to be downloaded, so I'm doing that first. He started doing these as Google Drive links, which I really like.
Yeah, one of the guys I used to Patreon, he'd used shoot, what was it? OneDrive for his. So
I mean, I gotta admit, I kind of like OneDrive better.
I like how it's tied to my my Microsoft stuff.
Yeah.
So it's, to me, it's a little bit easier to save everything too. Okay, I'm just going to do this hard way. And I lose a magnet. That makes me wonder where that came from.
This guy keeps doing poses, and so he's got these beautiful pose collections that he does, and he's just phenomenal at his artwork. And I'm still trying to learn how to just, all I want to do is put the same kind of action in there that he's got, because he's got these phenomenal actions that he does. Like, he's so good at just making it look alive. And it's difficult for me to make them look alive. It always kind of looks dead. So I'm trying to figure out how he does it.
Practice.
Yeah, well, it's getting to the point now where I'm starting to get kind of worried, because, like, I've been practicing for a good couple of decades now. It's like, well, I'm missing something. There is something I'm missing. Some widget of some sort. Yeah. Then there's WLOP, WLOP, and there's just no hope. I stand zero chance of ever getting close to that level of awesome.
Ah, guy, you're still young. You'll get there one day.
Someday. Reminds me of that infamous quote about the really amazing cellist who was like 90 something years old, and he got up in the morning and practiced, and somebody said, "You're 97 years old. Why are you still practicing?" And he goes, "Well, because I think I'm getting better." He's just like, well, there's that,
As long as you show improvement, then...
Yeah, right? I think I'm showing improvement. The only problem I've got is I am pretty sure that all of those scanning software pieces do make just loading the scanning software chops the frame rates.
Yeah.
So
that software may not be really optimized, and so it's using up as much as it can.
Which I'm going to try something new. I'm going to load up Photoshop and use the Twain software and see if I can't. Just Photoshop's normal capture from out in the middle of Nowheresville.
As long as it knows or recognizes the drivers for the scanner, it should.
Yeah. The scanner also doesn't seem to be terribly optimized. I mean, as in, like, there are an awful lot of you click a button and it goes, we don't know why, but something failed. And then you click it again and it goes, oh, okay, we can scan now. Or you'll click it and it goes, something else is using the scanner.
Yeah.
And you click it again and it goes, oh, okay, we can use it now. Which means that it was using the scanner and got confused. You know what I mean? You know? I cannot believe that I'm about to say this, but it looks like it goes a lot better in Photoshop. Because it's already pre-scanned it, and now we're in the middle of scanning. Which at 7200 DPI takes frickin' forever. So how have you been today, Brent?
I had some family stuff going on today, so that's why I wasn't around.
Yeah, I noticed you
And
were conspicuously not here a lot for the day show. Or maybe that was yesterday. The
yesterday I
days are
wasn't
starting to
around
all bleed
because,
together now, so
yeah,
there's
well,
that.
so I'm the only one covering my entire area at work,
Yeah.
my entire region, and so it good. It's bad because I'm the only one for that particular. So anyone, everyone who has an issue is always coming up to my door, even though there's a big old sign on it that says "put in a ticket" for their whatever they need, and I'll get to it, and I
Yeah.
do. But it's like,
But I'm important, and so you have to do my thing now.
yeah, yeah. There's this lady. Don't get me wrong; she's a really nice lady, but she'll put in a ticket for something, and I'll tell her in our company chat software, okay, I've moved it to the team that will process this because we can't do that. It has to go to these other people. So I sent it to them. Oh, okay. 10 minutes later, they haven't responded. There's nothing I can do. And then when they fix it, she'll tell me, oh, they fixed it. I'm like, I don't care
It's out of
necessarily.
my shop.
Yeah. As soon as it leaves my desk, I really don't care.
Really not my issue.
Yeah. And she's always like, oh, tell me these updates. I'm like, that has zero effect on me. I got other stuff I care about, I have to worry about. So, I have to say, I do love and hate these cheap
Sponge
sponge
brushes.
brushes.
Yeah. Those sponge brushes are weird.
They do a great job, but yet they also are annoying at times.
Yes.
And I just don't have anything like of the proper size to really dip it in. So, yeah. Yeah, this might be one I have to airbrush. Got little nooks and crannies. Tread on this guy. Alright. I did the proverbial bad thing and I dipped my brush of paint into my water pot, and I didn't need to do that yet. Because the water is the color of the paint.
Right?
Alright.
George is like, what you doing? Can I get involved? No, George, you cannot get involved. Just saying,
Typical cat.
right? But I want to be involved. I know you.
Huh. If someone had told me before I got tormented that I'd never be able to go to use the bathroom alone ever again, it's like,
But I mean, don't you feel love?
yeah. It's like, dude, I'll be back in like 2 seconds. Meow. And then he has to jump up on the counter for my sink in there. So.
This is really difficult because it's 7200 DPI. Every little speck is totally visible. So I've got to go through, and I've gotten all these like tools now to
Clean it up and
everything like that. And the problem is, I'm noticing a couple of things. One, if I use the non-static cloth, it actually will scratch the negative. So I've got to watch out for that. Now I'm using a Q-tip in hopes that that'll work. The other problem I'm running into is the Twain driver doesn't seem to have an adjustment for it. So it comes in like it doesn't understand that it's a negative.
Mm-hmm.
So it comes in super, super, super like dark. It adjusts it the wrong way.
Yeah.
So it's like it doesn't quite understand that it's a negative. I'm going to see if there's a, oh yeah, there we go. Positive film, negative film. Aha. Look at that.
You found it.
It was a button, as you might imagine. There's always a button. Why is there always a button? All right. Yeah, I'm ashamed to say that Photoshop does this better.
Well, now you know. So it'll probably work a lot quicker for you.
Yep. Yeepers, let's see what happens now. I went through and I got a cotton Q-tip. I've got some isopropyl alcohol in case it really won't work.
Mm-hmm.
And I can at least put that on the Q-tip and then put it on there, but I'm afraid I'll get the emulsion. I don't want to get the emulsion.
Yeah, you gotta be careful doing that.
So we'll try the Q-tip first. But I mean, like when I run the onboard software that comes with the scanner, this thing chokes up so badly that it's like I can't even stream.
Mm-hmm.
But running it through Photoshop, I mean, it's running it right now, and I'm not seeing that much degradation on my stream.
No.
Certainly not what we were seeing before, where you were like, you need to switch.
Something's up. Yeah.
Something's really going wrong. And I would look over because I've got this going through OBS, and on the I've got a little internal panel which shows the actual show in OBS. Yeah. And it was like all low res, and like I was getting 2 frames every second at best, and it was brutal. And I was like, wow, that's rough. So yep, so Ahsoka was cool.
I'm not caught up. I'm about a week behind on Ahsoka and also on Lower Decks.
Lower Decks was actually cooler tonight than I expected it to be.
Yeah. I'll probably catch the ups and
downs. It started out being silly. I mean, like silly like a normal Lower Decks episode. And then cleared out with some pretty cool plot points. And I was like, oh, this is the way we're going to be then, huh?
Mm-hmm. So they're moving a little bit more away from the comedy and into the more serious tone.
Well, I mean, we've already had like a number of ships completely obliterated.
Yeah.
This season by the... So that thing reminds me of an Agonizer from the Mirror Universe. So that's my prediction. That's all I got on it. Mike McMahon is enough of a geek that it is entirely plausible he's pulling that off on us. So, you know, I'd be more than willing to give it a good bet that there's, you know, something going on there.
Mm-hmm. Or it could be from when Mariner and Boimler went in the past and it ripped something in the past.
Yep. Yeah. I am completely astonished that they managed to make pack lids scary. That was actually really impressive. I was duly impressed. I was like, hey, you guys actually made pack lids pretty damn scary. Good job, guys.
I always get a kick off Janeway.
Right.
With Captain Freeman and all that.
It was just really good. It was well done. Well done, guys.
So I'm trying a couple of different painting techniques with these pillars and also detailed work.
You know, if you were in Arkansas, that'd be a different part of your model.
Yeah.
Just saying. My great-grandmother was from Arkansas. There's a reason why. She'd be like, would you move those pillars over there? Uh-huh.
I think I went too small with the brickwork on this one.
Oh, yeah? That's a bummer.
Because, well, I'm still trying to teach myself this skill.
Right.
Here, let me side by side.
I don't know. They both look pretty good.
Yeah, this one here with the smaller bricks. It's not bad, but when I hold it up against like my floor tiles, I think it throws it off.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if I agree. I think it looks great, but You know, we are our own worst critics, I guess.
Yeah.
You are not. You are not immune.
Well, I was just thinking that if I were to paint this red and make it like a red brickwork, more modern era type of thing, compared to me trying to go with something a little bit more D&D faux middle ages,
Yeah,
then it'd be better because it's kind
that's
of all
fair.
dependent on the era that you're trying to do. Hello, Tormund. Give me a moment here. I'll pick you up and give you pets.
He's like, it's that time, you know. The pet's time. You have a job, human. Do not slack.
Well, he's got fresh food. Tomorrow's he gets a fresh litter box and fresh water. I got him one of those fountains that just pours over the top, and then once a week I'll empty the water out and then refill it.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to do that on Fridays because that's typically when my kiddo comes over to visit, so it's kind of her chore.
Yep, that's sort of what I got kiddo downstairs doing. Kiddo downstairs is actually doing trash right now.
Ooh.
Because it's trash day.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not going to use the static thing anymore because I think that's scratching up these things way too much. But I can use a Q-tip. That seems to do pretty good. But that scanner is over this slide's resolution. That's awesome. So, I mean, like I zoom in all the way and you can see each crystal that didn't develop.
Nice.
So it's over the resolution of the slide. That's perfect.
Too much paint.
Now I'm making the computer chug out. But no, thanks, computer. Stop.
Gotta love Alexa at times.
I'm the one that did this to myself. So, I mean, that's, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, there is that. I can't really complain too
much.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to see what the neurofilters would do to try to clean it up. And because, I mean, you know, because like I said, you can zoom in to each individual crystal at this point. So if I've got to the crystal layer, can I use the neurofilters to, you know, drop that out and make that better? And so that was really what I was looking for, but that's all right. We'll mess with it later. I don't need to mess with it right now. It's all good. Other things to do with my life.
So where are you at with Bellatrix Rising Book 2?
Paused. It's
Okay.
paused. All of anything I don't scan has to be thrown away, unscanned. So if I don't scan it, it gets thrown away. And so I'm kind of doing we kind of have to push a little here.
Because of the Dallas stuff?
Yep, because of the Dallas stuff. The person in question is kind of into the idea of dumping the house.
Oh.
And so that's going to make it that's going to mean that we've got to clear out.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever doesn't get scanned will have to be tossed.
Couldn't you get it down to your sisters?
Well, she doesn't really want to carry it. And I don't blame her. She doesn't want to hold on to it. So a lot of this is stuff that we found in the storage unit of Dad's house, or of Dad's storage unit after he passed away.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool because it all explains just a little bit of his life. You know, whatever it was. He kept all kinds of stuff that was wild. I was making the joke that he kept all of his military records and the triplicates. Because I would go through and I'd be like, gosh, these are leave orders. Oh, that's kind of cool. We've got his leave orders. Now we can, and here's another leave order. Oh, and here's another one and another one. How many times did my dad go on leave? And then I find out he only went on leave like 4 times, but he captured all 12 copies of it and saved them all. So it took me a while to realize that there were 12 copies of these leave orders. And I guess the whole idea was, in case I get stopped and somebody asks me, what the hell are you doing out here? You
never know.
You never know. And so, I get it. And I can acknowledge perfectly reasonable. But it still was like, dude, it's like 400 of these leave orders. It's just like seriously bizarre, but that's all right. So anyway, I scanned all of those in, but then after a while I realized I didn't need to scan. We needed to do that anyway because at this point in time, it's kind of pointless for Dad, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like the fact that this never saves. Like every time, this is something I'm not liking about this is that I can't seem to save it. So anyway, it restarts with positive film at 600 DPI. I'm like, no. I really kind of want negative film at 7200 DPI. Anyway, his military records are going to go back down to my sister, so that'll be fine. Yeah. Along with my grandfather's certificate of discharge, mm-hmm. which is interesting because it's not a DD-214 like you've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's actually like a full-fledged 8.5 by 11 certificate of discharge with the seal and everything because he was in World War II. So they had but on the back of it is what looks similar to a DD-214. Mm-hmm. Just more information. which that was cool. And I'm like, yeah, we'll keep that one too. And I'll just keep that with my dad's records too. But I mean, it's like I've got my dad's DD214, which looks pretty much like your DD214. You know what I mean? Like everybody's DD, past World War II, they all are pretty much the same. But this was really cool. This very different thing. I wonder if I can find it while we're scanning. It's gonna be scanning for a while anyway. Yeah. Here we go. It's like nice. It says, it says Army of the United States Honorable Discharge. Yeah, it's kind of cool. And it's signed and everything like that. And of course, it's stamped up here. But on the back, of course, is a normal unlisted record, but does have his fingerprint, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah, a lot of those records got destroyed in the, I want to say the 60s or 80s.
Yep.
Because the facility that they're being saved at in Kansas City, mind you, only an hour away from me, burnt down.
Yep.
So there are a lot of guys who served in the military who are still alive that they don't have those records anymore.
Yep. Yeah. The back here is kind of cool because it's got battles, engagements, skirmishes, or expeditions, decorations, service medals or citations, wounds received in service. Then it's got the date and result of smallpox facts. That's kind of funny, actually. His Army serial number, which was not his social.
No. It's not the social anymore now either.
No. They went to social, then they didn't. It was the same thing in college. When I pulled out my my save card, which was my ID card when I was in college back in the day, it had my social right there.
Yeah.
That was my student ID number. But yeah, this we'll keep. We'll scan this and then we'll keep it. Scan it at high resolution along with, because we've got my dad's 214 scanned in too at high resolution, so if I ever need to print a new one out, I can. So it's a thing. It is kind of cool to see, and it's keeping everybody's records in the same place that's useful.
Yeah.
Like my sister's papers, my grandfather's papers, all three of my grandfathers that were in because my mom's dad, my dad's bio dad, and then my dad's adopted dad all served.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of funny because the bio dad was here and the adopted dad was overseas. And we had no idea until I pulled, I'm named after the adopted dad.
Yeah.
So the adopted dad's Guy William Davis and I'm Guy Stephen Davis. And that's how we determined the two of us apart. But he passed away of cancer when my dad was 14. So I never met him. But that's why I was named after him, obviously. Or, well, I guess not obviously, but logically. But then I pulled his 214, and when I did, it said medals and citations, and it said, Normandy Beach, liberation of Berlin, liberation of Paris. And I was like, oh my God. And I called Dad and I said, did you know that Guy William was in Normandy? And Dad went, no, he never said that. Never said anything. And of course they didn't. That was kind of a thing. The ones who were actually there in the fray, they didn't talk about that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want to. But yeah, I mean, all it was I was gonna do a memorial with all of his ribbons and set them up, and so I pulled his 214 to pull the ribbons, and all of a sudden I'm getting these bizarre ribbons that I've never seen before because you don't get to see those very often, you know. Those are not medals, and clearly he never kept them.
And a lot of those medals too, yeah, they wouldn't at that time. They didn't really think of the nostalgia of it or anything like that.
And what they thought what they did was they didn't think that they did a very not an honorable thing. Memorable?
Noteworthy.
Yeah, noteworthy. That's it. Noteworthy. Thank you. Because they knew they were being honorable. It wasn't very noteworthy. It was like,
they just thought it was another day.
Yeah. Another day, another dollar. Mm-hmm. I'm out here trying to kill these Nazis so I can go home and fix my tractor. You know? Yeah, it's just kind of... But, man, as soon as I saw it, I was like, good heavens. He was out there on the... He was doing the things, man. He was doing the things. But yeah, Dad didn't know. Never said anything. Dad did kind of interesting things in the Army too, but he never told me what they were because he was under orders to never talk about it. Yeah. Which was particularly funny because, as he oft said, you know, he was working with equipment that now ham radio operators have. So it's not like, and his whole thing was, when I say that I'm under a top secret lock, just know that if I told you, you'd be underwhelmed. And I'm like, that's fair. Okay, I get it. It was just a funny statement. I thought that was good. But he didn't break his oath, so. Yeah, his whole thing was, it sounds cooler than it was.
And that's what it is in the military a lot of times. It's like, even nowadays, there's stuff for my job that I can just pull up online and be like, yep, that's right, or nope, that's not right. And it's like,
right?
I really can't say anything to anybody about it. It's just one of those things. It's like,
And that's one of those things that's particularly funny. When my sister was in service, I was giving her updates about where satellites were, and she's like, how do you know all of this? And I'm like, I'm a space geek. and NASA tells everything. NASA's not under any orders. So NASA will happily blurt all this stuff out. And I'm like, I mean, they don't make it easy to find, but if you know how to read the codes and you know what birds you're looking for, you know, it's like, but then again, it's like, I'm not going to tell anybody. And I'm certainly not going to tell anybody how I did that, you know. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I guess, you know, realistically, if I can find it, somebody else can.
I'm sure it's somewhere else out there in the interwebs.
Yep. This is a long time ago when the interwebs was markedly more creepy. It was when my sister was in service, you know. So a certain amount of a certain amount of, I don't know. It was a little harder to find stuff back then. I think you'd have to have spoken a little bit clearer.
The days before Google.
Yeah, the days before you could just Google it. Can't Google it now. I mean, you probably could, I guess, but It's not so easy.
Yeah. All right. Well, that mold didn't work out. Whole point
Against
of
the frame one. Come over here. Hit the import button.
yeah.
Go through the custom settings and make it into a negative.
Oh, you sound like you're having so much fun.
I hate when things don't remember these settings. I mean, like, I'm doing the same thing over and over and over, and that's one of those horrible weak spots of ADD that nobody talks about, and that is if you have to do 6,000 reps of a thing that has 12 steps, you will have one of those reps somewhere along the line that you did 11 steps.
Mm-hmm.
And the worst part is, you did 11 steps. You're just not sure which one you didn't do. And so it's so infuriating when it's something like this. It shouldn't be this hard. I always feel that way. I'm like, this shouldn't be this difficult. There should be a remember my settings. But what'll happen is I need to scan this particular set of slides needs to be done in at 7200 DPI.
Mm-hmm.
Once it is, this set can be thrown away. I can throw them away forever because this is over the resolution of the slides. So I would never get a better copy by developing the slides later on. This is the best copy I will ever get.
Yeah.
And since it's over the resolution of the actual crystals on the film, this is it. I can throw these slides away. I can destroy them, which is good because they're just taking up space and I don't need to keep them and stuff like that. But this is a very, like, I love this memory and I really want to keep this memory forever. So I'm doing this because it's pictures of mom and pictures of stuff like that. And like, I want to keep these, but like, I don't want it to accidentally scan it in at 600 DPI in reverse because I forgot to switch it to 7200 DPI. The 600 is under the slides or the slides rendering capability. So I'm like, I got to do this at 7200. Anyway, grumble, grumble, grumble.
No, I get it. So
that looks nice. That looks really nice.
Which side do you like better? This side?
No, I think I like that side. Yeah, the lighter one, the lighter side. I mean, although both of them are good, so it's not like I significantly like it more or anything. I just think that the minis will stand out better.
Well, so this side was black paint with a little bit of white in it to lighten it up.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just gray.
Right.
But
the gray looks mixed better.
Yeah. I'm liking this better too. Now I will hit it with a black wash to get the deep crevices.
Yeah.
I'm letting that air dry a little bit longer. Because if I do it to this one, the one that has the black in it, then it doesn't show up as well.
Right.
So I'm just trying to perfect my technique. So in that way, when I just hammer out this very large stack, there's like I bought 2 foot by 2 foot sheets. So each one of those blocks is 3 inches, and then I cut it down and it's an inch thick, and then I cut it down to half an inch.
Right.
Because that's a little bit better and easier to manage, and I can double how many I get. So Let's say 8 times 8, 64 times 2, 128.
Yeah.
So when I start knocking out 128 of these tiles,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to keep having to mix black and white together in order to try to get the same. So
That's fair.
but at that point, if I'm doing all 128, then I may just get a rattle can, spray paint rattle can, and hit it with that first.
Certainly nothing wrong with that.
No. Okay. Sorry, thinking out loud while I'm trying to clean up my mess on here at my desk.
Do what you need to do, my brother. You do what you need to do. The other ones turned out much better than this one. I don't know why this one didn't. A lot of problems.
Oh, and also, your opinion, guy.
The bigger one.
This one?
Yeah.
All right. That's
Because
what I was
I'll knock
thinking.
stuff over. No matter which way you put it, I'll knock stuff over. So more ability for me not to knock stuff over when I put my mini on the table.
Yeah. So this is like one of the things I've been designing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I use my hot wire cutter just to cut it out.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I like the way you've got this working that way.
And then all the magnets, I have this little piece here. And right here where my two fingers are 2 little nubs. So when I slide the material on, push it in, and
it just snaps in.
Well, it makes some marks.
Oh, I get it.
So then I use a hot glue gun to make the holes for the magnets.
Huh. Actually remarkably clever.
I admit I stole this idea from a YouTuber.
That's all right.
And he sells his online, and I was like, I don't have the money to buy that. I'm just going to make it myself.
That's fair.
So I fired up Tinkercad, and I spent like a week or two just playing with, how am I going to do this? How is it going to work?
Right.
So. I admittedly burned through most of my magnet collection that I have for minis.
That's fair. I mean, at least it went to a good cause. I mean,
I can recover them, so that's the good news.
Yeah.
Out of the blocks I'm not going to use. Alright, what else?
It's a little bit messy. All right. That. IT jobs out there. Sure, I'm not qualified for those guys. I guess I could be, but
now you're looking at IT work, man.
No, I just keep getting job alerts, and I'm like, okay, but like I'm not qualified for it. So though I appreciate it, an unknown error has occurred. See, like I said, it feels like this scanner is like the one that's really the problem.
Mm-hmm. All right. My side of the stream may slow down here in a minute. I got to open up a slicer software.
Oh no, nothing worse than a slicer software.
Yeah.
Yeah, tomorrow's Friday.
Yay, Friday.
Yeah, I work all weekend, so I'm kind of like, aw, it's my last day to do stuff.
Oh, you're teaching?
Mm-hmm. And since we're in the middle of school year, during the school year, we teach only on the weekends, obviously, because it's pointless to teach 14-year-olds in the middle of the week in the school year. Nobody's going to show up.
Well, I'm sure actually they would show up. It's just that they wouldn't pay too much attention.
Right? They'd show up, but they wouldn't. They'd be playing hooky from school to do it.
Yeah.
But it's that or nothing, so we're doing that.
I love how my 3D printer keeps telling me, you don't have enough filament, even though I'm looking at half a spool still on the printer. Because this thing doesn't realize it's not counting the right spool. And I just don't want to change it right now.
Feel that. It's like the scanner, it keeps being busy because somebody else is using it, and that somebody else is it.
Itself, yeah.
You can't, I'm sorry, we can't use the scanner. It's being busy. Use what?
This scanner's in use. By what? Itself.
Dr. Friedman has written a glowing recommendation letter. She's like, it was so much fun to write because I had so many things that were positive to say about you. And I'm like, Dr. Friedman, you have positive things to say about everybody. That's your personality. That's the kind of person you are. One of those people that just, you're always saying nice things about people. Nothing wrong with that at all. But
no.
Still kind of like, well, okay, but you know, we do have to kind of point out at this point.
No.
But I wanted to tell her also, I really appreciate her kind of being the catalyst for this.
Mm-hmm. Taking your rear into gear.
Yeah. It was definitely her that was sitting with me at a NDK and going, well, and me, I'm like, I don't know. I don't think I'd do so well in college. And she's like, what? Why? I don't know. And then she's like, well, you're just being silly. And I'm like, maybe you're right. It's just weird. Like I said, we are just getting our butts kicked by imposter syndrome.
on, printer. Start printing. There we go.
Hello, computer. It's funny that Alexa does not trigger on that. I'm just saying. Oh, I watched Guardians of the Galaxy 3 today.
Oh.
I'm actually now starting to catch up on things because scanning is boring. I mean, like, I hit the button and then I just sit here for four minutes while it rolls. But, yeah. So I got to watch Guardians of the Galaxy Part 3. That was a pretty good movie.
I still haven't seen it. I have it. I just haven't sat down to see it.
I mean, it's on Disney Plus now, so...
Yeah.
It is a little weird to be on Disney and have them dropping F-bombs like they're funny.
Oh, yeah.
Always weird, but, you know, I got it. They've also got on Disney That Darn Cat and Cat from Outer Space, two of my favorite movies when I was a kid. Because I've always been a cat person. You know, cats are cool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean...
They're okay.
Yeah. I mean, especially George. I have to say that or else he'll kill me. No, he won't kill me. He doesn't have a mean bone in his body. Everything's funny. Even chasing Dove he's not doing it out of the meanness of his heart. You know, he's like not being a mean cat. It's just she's just prey.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, but he's not being mean. Just being fuzzy. These are all very noisy, though. All these pictures. A lot of color noise.
I was happy that, so because I'm not in Colorado anymore, I like to look at the ski resorts for their snow and all that, and especially during the ski season, because I want to go out and ski.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them started putting up their snow state cameras.
Nice.
Start turning them back on. Because they turn them off, well, it's winter, or it's summer, and it doesn't really snow.
Yeah, like,
so
what's the point?
Yeah. They turn them off, like, around June. And then they turn them, like, on, well, about this time of year every year, so.
Right.
I gotta cut more bricks. So give me a second here.
You know, the other nice thing about this slide scanner is that it locks everything in place. So I don't have to adjust the picture, you know, rotate it and adjust it and all. Because it's all locked into place and it's exactly aligned right side up. So none of that crap has to go. This is always a nice thing. It's just a nice thing to have, you know? Like, oh, good. I don't have to mess with that. You know?
One less thing to worry about.
One less thing to worry about.
Dang it. So something I can't complain about with my hot wire cutter that I have now. If I don't hold it in the right spot as I'm cutting, it can bend and flex at the top, which throws everything off.
Mm-hmm.
And so everything, it's not completely right. Prime example, had to rerun this one through twice and now it's all scratched. Right. If I hold like this one at the bottom, it's all nice and smooth.
Right.
So I have a feeling I'm going to have to build or do something to get a bigger fence for this. Like, not bigger, but just taller.
Right.
Because the fence is this high. So as I set stuff against it, I have that much that's can just
Above it. Yeah.
So that's goals for later, Brent, to worry about.
Right. Pass that off to future Brent.
Yeah. Future Brent, when he gets a circular saw and probably some 1/2-inch thick plywood and about 5 inches tall.
Right.
That should be more than enough.
Yep. Well, and though this is irritating, I wonder if there's a way I can set the WIA support to be different. Because I'm like, the irritating part is the WIA stuff that's like, so I'm going to actually say, I'm now looking this up. I'm like, there's got to be a way to save this.
I'm sure there is. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Allergy season's really starting to kick in out here.
Yep. Me too.
That's one of the things I never really had to deal with when I lived in Denver was allergies. It didn't really bother me that bad. But here, jeez. I swear I could probably buy stock and make money off of it for all the allergy meds I have to take.
Oh. I think. They were saying as long as you use custom settings and not the linked settings, it's...
It'll allow you to save your settings.
Right. It remembers it. But if you click the little link from the bottom, it doesn't remember it because it's an idiot. That's all right. The thing I'm scanning these things at ridiculous resolution is way washed out when I get it on here. But since it's at some ridiculous bit rate, even if you have to take the levels and squish and just grab this little strip right here, it expands it all out because all the data there's so much data. 7200 DPI is insanely overpowered.
Yeah.
There's a lot of juice there.
That's a lot of dots per inch.
That's a lot of dots per inch. And considering a slide is what? An inch by whatever, So, it's not so bad. Well, the problem with you not being here is that or not being in the duck pond is there's no post at all. Nobody has said anything. Well, it's all right. That's not the point of this show. As people keep coming in here and going, we can find you millions of viewers. I'm like, I don't think you understand the point of what we're doing here.
Yeah.
I don't care. If there's just 2 people here, that's still fine. As long as the 2 people are getting their work done, that's all that matters.
There you have your fan.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I can make fun of myself. What can I say? I don't want to cut that guy up yet.
We will get back, by the way, to working on the comics. Don't worry.
Oh, I figure as much.
I just want to make sure you knew that there would. This is there, even with school. The plan is to continue with the comic.
Yeah.
I've actually been doing things, like I got burned out on all the scanning earlier in the week. And I think you were gone that day or whatever, but I did this this drawing of this girl and came up with an entire story for it. It's takes place on the planet Gallonfair and stuff. So it was kind of cool.
Uh-huh. I saw you talk about it like later that night or on another stream.
It was just cool.
Yeah. And that's okay. Every so often you do get burned out on things and just kind of have to redirect. And I think I've said in the past too, as long as you're moving forward some way, then that's perfectly fine.
Right.
All right. Well, Guy, I'm probably going to hit the bed here pretty soon.
I figured as much. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It's 10:30 here, so we're not spring chickens either.
Ugh. Not anymore.
Right?
I was talking to one of my Marine buddies, and he was like, "So, just out of curiosity, what time do you go to bed?" I'm like, anywhere from 10 to 11. I remember the days when I'd stay up by 2, 3 in the morning and get back from the bar and have PT at 5. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm probably in bed by 9, 9:30 nowadays myself."
Right? You're like, well, this is where it is. Oh, man. The only problem with these damn unknown errors is that you have to start all over again. Click all the dumb things. Click on this and tell it it's a negative. And then click on this and raise its DPI 72200.
Yeah, I thought you had it set for the custom settings.
Yeah, you can't click that. I thought there was a click there. So can't do it. But there's that. Besides, this is actually the first picture since I read that. It takes a long time to scan these things.
Oh.
At 7200, it takes a long time. In some of the lower resolutions, it's not so bad. But some of these pictures that I'm scanning, there's details in the backgrounds that I really want to make sure I get.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm scanning it at the highest possible resolution and just kind of rolling with it there. So, yeah, that's a thing. Anyway, I'll be on tomorrow morning. I'm being a lot looser right now with my
Start time and
yeah. I mean, because mostly, really, I'm just working. And so if I manage to squeeze in a little bit of time with the kiddo to watch Ahsoka and whatever, and last couple of days they've been wanting to watch some of my old standbys. So we've gone through Aliens and Star Trek 2, and last night we did Apollo 13, which is a very long movie.
Yeah.
So it went right through the middle of the show, and then I was like, you know what? I'll just go to bed. So sometimes I'm dropping out like that. Don't worry about it.
We'll
I'll
worry, but I'll still worry, but it's more so like, is he okay?
Right.
Type of worry.
Right. Well, maybe what I'll do is if that happens, I'll shoot you a PM.
Yeah.
And then that way you'll know.
That's fine.
I'll be like, yeah, we're just in the middle of Apollo 13 or we're in whatever. Because a lot of this is, kind of we're doing the last lap sort of thing, before we pack down that room and shut down our the movie viewing room that has been the movie viewing room for effectively the kiddo's entire life. So, because we moved here when the kiddo was 2. So the kid does not remember any place but here. So packing it down is kind of traumatic. So.
Well, let me ask this: have you discussed with the kiddo like where they're going with mom or dad?
Oh yeah, yeah, we've got all of that figured out. And since neither one of us are leaving the state or anything, it's pretty easy. The biggest problem we're having, of course, is just coordinating schedules and stuff.
So you're going to do the 50-50?
Yeah, we were going to try to do the 50-50. I don't think that'll work as well as we think it will, but you know what? Anything can happen. But I remember trying to do 50-50 when I was a kid, and it ended up just being too confusing. I kept leaving homework at the other parent's house and back and forth and flip-flopping, and it's just so much of a pain in the ass. It was like, after a while, I was like, never mind.
Yeah.
It was just not worth it.
Well,
then my dad moved to Texas and things got completely different, because once that happened, it was because he was here for 2 years. After they broke up, he was still in Denver for 2 more years. So he stayed here until I was 10. And then he moved back to Texas when I was 10. So from 10 on, I was making the every summer, every winter flight down there and stuff. And so we got it, though. I mean, we got it under control. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Yep. So I better let you go hit the hay.
Yeah, I've got a long day tomorrow playing catch up because I was off work today. And
see, that's what you get for being off work today. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Okay, my friend. I'll see you in the morning.
Yep. See you tomorrow. Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Now it's just us. This is me cleaning slides. Hey there, Juki. How you doing out there? I'm cleaning slides, which is not as exciting as it should be. What are you up to on your side of the world? One of the reasons that I liked having Brent here, because it was cool to have somebody here who wasn't in fact working on slides, which I cannot share because I don't have these people's permission to share their pictures. So I can't actually share this picture at all. Kind of a bummer. So, next slide. What we're doing is I'm importing with WIA support these pictures. We're only going to be on though for another about 15 minutes or so, maybe even a little less depending, because this is kind of boring. Have to admit, sitting here and watching me scan slides is boring. When Brent was here and we were chatting, that was cool. But now Brent is gone to bed because he's 1 hour ahead of us, and that puts him at almost midnight, and he's up with the dawn patrol. So this is us waiting our 4 minutes for this scan to roll. Still waiting. All right, image is in. Adjusting the levels. All these guys seem to get just a little bit of little dots and errors. I feel like my kiddo's still up. All right. I think this will be the last scan for the night. I'm using a 7200 DPI scanner, which is designed specifically for scanning slides. I'm scanning in a whole bunch of old slides that my mom and dad, my dad had mostly, and they are fantastic. It's a fantastic visual into my childhood, and I find that really funny and not funny. I mean, I guess I do find it funny, but some of it's funny. But mostly, I just find it very lovely to, see my life as it was, you know. So I'm going to go on ahead and roll us on out. It was great having you guys here with me tonight. Thank you for joining me. I hope you guys got a lot of work done. And as always, remember to keep your eyes on the stars. See you tomorrow. Good night.